also brings me to a new point because I got pissed off, and it's not just about our Cowboys losing, but I'm sick and tired of the bullshit that goes on out in the media and with players. And by that, I mean some of the stuff that you're spouting out there is fact, Benet.
Dig it.
About Greg Hardy paying people off. That's, of course, being reported out there, but so was the Des Bryant tape being reported that was out there that was 10 times worse. So what happens is you take a conversation that, say, me and James could say, I heard that you paid that. You spread it around, then somebody else hears it, and all of a sudden people take it as fact. So we got to be careful about what we say is, oh, yeah, well, she got paid off. I haven't seen anything out there. It's assumed that she did, and she probably did. But for all any of us know, that may have been her whole motive to begin with, was to get paid.
It could be.
Okay.
The whole thing.
Now here is the hypocrisy that really turned me over the edge. Was Michael Bennett was doing an interview on ESPN, and he was saying that, I couldn't have a teammate like Greg Hardy, out there. Now here's what's interesting about that, because this is where I call bullshit. His teammate, their second-round draft pick, Frank Clark, from last year, was arrested and pled out on domestic violence with an incident in a hotel with his girlfriend. She had welts on her cheeks. She had marks on her neck. There was broken lamps. She had burns on her legs. So this is as bad, if not worse, than what Greg Hardy was accused of. And he pled out on that. And since 2000, there's been over 51 cases where the players have been found culpable of domestic violence. Now, the funny thing about this is we've got, like I said, Frank Clark, who was convicted before he was there. No penalties, no fines, anything like that. The Seahawks say they investigated it, but they didn't talk to the person who was assaulted or any of the other witnesses, but they are fine. But nobody talks about the Seahawks or Frank Clark. You've got guys like Darrell Washington who pled guilty to assaulting his baby's mama and breaking her collarbone. But I don't see anybody protesting or saying he should be out of the league. So there's all of these different instances that are out there. So that's where I cry bullshit. So everybody out there who's talking about Greg Hardy, and don't get me wrong, I don't believe in domestic violence in any form, fashion, or not. But you've got to be equal, and it can't be just the Dallas Cowboys are the only one that has this problem. Because if you're going to go after Greg Hardy, go after Frank Clark, go after Darrell Washington, and heck, you can go after Brandon Marshall, who's been arrested for domestic violence more than anybody else, who's now saying, Greg Hardy is an accident waiting to happen. So that's my BS, and I cried.
That being said, Mark, tell folks how to get in contact with you, homie.
Oh, they can just check out my webpage, Jobu's Man Cave at WordPress.com. They can like me on Facebook, Jobu's Facebook page. Of course, on the Benet Embry Show on our app and on our webpage.
Hold on real quick, Mark.